alongside. Adam just celebrated a birthday, and Damon Keene is out today and tomorrow, I guess, celebrating his birthday today. Adam, is today his birthday? Is it tomorrow? I know he likes to call it his birthday month. Apparently, he wants to celebrate the entire month of October. And, to each his own, if that's what he wants to do. But his birthday's either today or tomorrow. So whatever day it is, Damon, happy birthday. And Adam, to you, happy belated birthday. You were in Evansville. You got to spend your birthday in Evansville, Indiana. I mean, I can't think of a better birthday, honestly.
Well, it made my night when I went to the DoubleTree and I checked in, and I got that free cookie. And I was like, there you go. That's for my birthday. Because my birthday was I got there at about 11 o'clock. So I was like, there's my early birthday present. I got a free hot cookie.
Oh, there's the key word. That's the word I was looking for. Hot.
Yep.
That was my question. Chocolate chip cookie is fine, or a free, I'm assuming chocolate chip. A free cookie is great. I love me some free cookies. But the key word, especially at the hotel, is did it come hot? Or on a flight, is it hot or warm?
So the DoubleTree has a little oven next to their
Nice.
front desk, and they keep the cookies there for you. Pretty cool.
We stayed, and I'm drawing, but I think it was called Five Oaks. I don't know. I butchered it. I don't know. Not this past trip to Pigeon Forge, the year prior, when we went to play with Ripken at Pigeon Forge, because this year we stayed in a cabin. Last year we stayed in a hotel, and they had warm cookies just sitting out. And when they weren't warm anymore, they warmed them back up. Just as many as you want, not just one, like whenever you wanted them. And that alone was already a major check, a major box that was checked of, yeah, I like this place.
I can hear your excitement just reenacting the story.
You can tell I was already just thinking about visiting those cookies a year ago. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm kind of hungry too, so that's another thing. You're eating in front of me. We're talking about warm cookies, and I need to get to 4:00 because at some point I will have to eat because I'm starving. Justin is out today. I know a lot of you have had fun with Justin saying it sounds like he's doing a show on NPR. Well, it was late at night for him, so it was kind of Justin after dark. But he's going to be out today and tomorrow. He's out this week. He is abroad, and he's having a little vacay time. So no Justin McFarland on Fox 17, and no Justin McFarland here on the McFarland Show on WNSR. So we'll just plug along. Alex Doherty is going to join us in about 7 minutes from Penalty Box Radio. We will have a good Preds discussion with him. 4 games in the books tonight. They're at MSG, Madison Square Garden, up in the Big Apple in New York, and we'll see if they can get back on track. They got roughed up at home Tuesday night by the Edmonton Oilers, who were looking for their first victory, and they got it. And they just exploded from jump. Draisaitl and McDavid were awesome, as you would expect. And it was, of course, the return of Matthias Ekholm. And they didn't play bad in Boston prior to that, but they're going to try to get back and try to get their second win of the season. Of course, that would be their first road win tonight against a good Rangers team that has a familiar name at the helm. Let's see, their head coach's name is Peter Laviolette. Is that how you say it? Laviolette? Or Peter Laviolette. Yeah, Peter Laviolette is the head coach of the Rangers, so no stranger to the Predators. So we'll talk about that with Alex Doherty in the second hour, bringing Terry McCormick from TitanInsider.com. And we will discuss this Titans off week. There's a lot of discussion. It's amazing how many people have reached out to me to talk about this team and what everybody has an opinion of what they should do moving forward coming out of this bye week, especially if Ryan Tannehill isn't ready to go. But a lot of people feel so strongly they don't care if he's ready to go or not. I think a lot of people are ready for a change at quarterback. And I understand that. I understand the reasonings on why you wouldn't, but I also understand why you would want to see what they have in Will Levis. And, of course, I'm not talking about Malik Willis because I think it's at this point, I think kind of everybody's on the same page. He's He's just not there yet. Does that mean he will never be there? No. I also kind of think that there is a chance of that, but it doesn't mean that he's never going to get there. It just means he's not ready yet. He's continuing to hang on to the ball, hold on to it too long. He's indecisive. There's times when he looks good and he's taking steps forward, and there's times when he reverts back to last year's Malik Willis, where everybody goes, ugh. And the team went, ugh. And they decided to bring in Josh Dobbs and start him in the most important game of the season, which really was a real indictment on Malik Willis. This year, they gave up capital to trade up to spot 33, which is almost a first-round pick to get Will Levis. So it's very clear that they have their concerns about Malik Willis moving forward, at least to be the guy to replace Ryan Tannehill. And now I think there's a lot of people ready to and clamoring to see what Will Levis looks like. And I got to be honest, I think I'm in that camp too. I really do. I think it's time for everybody to see, like, and because there's a lot of people also like, well, with that offensive line, it doesn't matter. Well, that's not true. It's just not. Well, what if Will Levis gets out there and it looks different with him? It may not, but what if it does? Then all of a sudden, it's going to maybe breed a little bit of hope for people, because this is what I've been saying all season long, and nothing has changed on this front. This team is void of talent. They just are. And unfortunately, their misses in the past have come to roost. They just have. And I know a lot of people don't want to keep drudging up the past. They don't want to hear about drudging up the past, but there's no way to avoid it. At least that's my opinion. It's caught up to them, and it's affecting this team. They're just void of talent. All these bad draft picks and all these bad signings, they're not getting any production out of that. And that just eventually will get you. They were able to mask it for a good while, but I just think they can't mask it anymore. And I think Mike Vrabel knows that. I think senses why you get the frustration. I think there's guys in that locker room that also feel the same way, because you're hearing their frustrations. Let's start with Big Jeff. Jeffrey Simmons, what he said after the loss to Baltimore in London. We're going to find out who wants to be here. That's an interesting statement. And that's not really about the void of talent. I think it's also about some people that are missing and maybe some things that are going on behind the scenes. We'll come back. We'll talk all about the spreads team with Alex Doherty. Does a really good job of covering the team. You heard him last season on the show with us, and so he's a good listen. And he'll join us next as you listen to the McFarland Show on Nashville Sports Radio.
If you're looking for something fun to do with family, friends, co-workers, or clients, look no further than Strike and Spare Family Entertainment. Visit any of their 5 Middle Tennessee Strike and Spare Fun Center locations in Hermitage, Donaldson, Tusculum, Hendersonville, or Murfreesboro. With bowling, games, food, drink, and party options for all ages. Enjoy an enhanced experience in Hendersonville or Murfreesboro, where they feature additional fun with bumper cars, roller skating, bungee trampoline, laser tag, and much, much more. All locations of Strike and Spare Family Entertainment are open 7 days a week, including holidays. Check them out online at strikeandspare.com. Strike and Spare Family Entertainment, where fun is bowling.
I've got a unique vacation idea for you that's right here in the United States. If you're ready for a vacation that's fun and downright affordable, listen up. It's driving distance for many of you, so no planes, no airline delays, no hassles. It's Branson, Missouri, the entertainment capital of the Midwest. Live music for everyone. Branson has 3 beautiful, enormous lakes, water attractions, live shows, great food, and tons of entertainment. It's a perfect vacation for you and your family, or if you're retired and you want to have a great time. And you can stay and in Branson for as low as $99 a night. Please understand, this is not a timeshare offer. It's a real vacation for as little as $99 a night. We've got a free vacation guide we want to send you right now. All you have to do is call for complete details. Get your free Branson, Missouri guide right now by calling this number.
800-413-3953. 800-413-3953. 800-413-3953. That's 800-413-3953.
Brad Fowler, Century 21 Right Realty, is reminding listeners that thousands of women lose their lives in the battle against breast cancer every year. So women over 40, please schedule a checkup today. It just may make a difference. Brad Fowler, Century 21 Right Realty, is our area's premier and most trusted real estate professional, backed by years of experience. So if you're buying, selling, moving, or improving, give the pros a call today at 615-519-3339. 615-519-3339. That's Brad Fowler, Century 21 Right Realty. He's a professional who cares.
Attention high school sports fans, are you an armchair official? You know, the parent or fan who constantly yells at the referees and loves to let everyone know just how bad you think they are. Well, if you think you could do better, then get in the game and prove it. It's time for you to suit up and make the calls where they actually count. Every sport in Tennessee needs more officials. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
It's a Bill King Show.
We are college football centric. That is the sun that warms our planet that we live on. Our planet actually isn't flat or round. It's an oblong spheroid. And we are here to proselytize about it, edify it every day on this here radio show.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
The McFarland Show. Video streaming live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube from the Strike and Spare studio.
Rolling along on this Thursday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a great day. Darren McFarland here in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. You can watch the show every day. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Adam Johnson is alongside. Dave McKean is out celebrating his birthday. Adam already did celebrate his birthday earlier this week. Justin is out of the country. So, strange week here on the McFarland Show. Not a bad thing, but just a little bit different than normal. Let's bring in Alex Doherty from Penalty Box Radio. Does a great job covering the Predators. You know that we talked to him all last season on this program. Alex, how we doing?
Great, Darren. How are you?
Well, I'm in Nashville, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it seems like everybody's been traveling and having fun. The Predators are traveling. They're in the Big Apple, take on the Rangers tonight.
So Justin's out of the country?
Out of the country. 7 hours ahead of us.
Okay.
But I can't disclose his location. That's the best I can do. 7 hours ahead of us. So he did do the last 2 days of the show. So it was kind of Justin after dark because it was at 9 to 11 p.m. where he was.
Okay.
But he's out the rest of the week. He's like, no more after dark shows. So we got it. What is your assessment of this team through 4 games?
Well, I think maybe to make a proper assessment of this team, I think you have to view this entire year in context. You know, I mean, a 1-3 start sounds pretty bad, and I think it's not great in the standings wise, but the context of this team is this is kind of a free year, right? I mean, the expectations are pretty low. I mean, like they're almost non-existent. You have a new coach, you have a new GM, you have a new mindset, you have maybe a different set of short-term goals. I think every team's going to say they want to compete for the Stanley Cup, but I think everyone in that building understands it's not going to happen this year. It's not going to happen in the next couple of years. But the goal is to build, right? And so I think the first 4 games, I think you've seen some pretty good things, actually. I mean, they have a different approach on the offensive end that I think is kind of paying off. Now, it's not – last game was, pretty miserable to watch if you were especially if you were there watching Edmonton yet again just roll over Nashville. But the numbers don't lie in terms of this Nashville team getting a lot more shots. They're getting a lot more chances. They're getting a lot more. The advanced stats tell you that this team is actually doing a lot of good things it hasn't done in a few years. They need special teams to be a lot better than it is. Special teams has been pretty poor.
Yep.
So that is a big, that can be a momentum killer. That could be something that if you capitalize early in games, it can change the course of the match. So that is a huge thing that needs to be fixed. But I think right now the expectations of the fan base in general are pretty low, and so as long as they feel good about where the team's going, the results kind of don't matter as much.
You just said match. I sense you've been going to some Nashville SC games.
I think that was a total Freudian slip there.
I think you nailed it. I really do, because I'm going to tell you why. Because I've had a lot of conversations with Preds fans. In fact, I filled in Monday morning before our show. John Burton was out, so I sat in here with Greg Pogue, and Greg brought up the Predators, and he was like, I like what I see, and I'm okay with it. And I said, that sounds great, and everybody feels that way, but here's why. Because of what you just said. Because it's not status quo anymore. Things changed in the offseason. There's a new general manager. Barry Trotz is in that place, and he's a name everybody's familiar with and loves. You've got a new head coach. Okay, there's a lot of people, as you know, and we talked about all last season, that just were not on board with John Hines. There's new players and some of the familiar players that were kind of the whipping boys in this market. And I didn't say it was wrong because of their contracts. And Ryan Johansson and Matt Duchene have now been sent inside the division. They've been traded elsewhere. So they are somewhere else or bought out. Okay. And so, like you said, it's kind of a free pass. So you feel just fine because changes were made and there's no expectations. But really, when you get down to it, right now, through 4 games, if we're just being honest, if nothing had changed, the product really looks the same and people will be mad, right? I mean, through 4 games, It looks exactly the same, but not exactly. The scoring is they're still having trouble scoring, which was a big problem last year. So that hasn't been fixed yet. People would be mad today if none of that stuff had taken place, but since they did, everybody's fine with it. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and the results are not exactly all that different from the last few years. You're right about that. I think some of we can't ignore that they've had a tough first stretch. I mean, the first 4 games have been against good teams.
Yeah.
And the first 20 games are against really good teams. It's not until you get to after Christmas that you start to see a little bit of a drop off on the schedule. But it feels like there's been a pot of boiling water on the stove that's just been going off for 3 years, and then finally someone came in and just took it off and said, you know what, let's stop this and let's slow down, let's start over. And that's what it feels like. It feels like, in general, the fan base is a little bit less anxious about everything. You got like you said, the clock has restarted on a lot of things. The GM, the ownership's going to start. New ownership starting soon. You're going to have you got a new coach, obviously new players. I just wanted to hit on what you said about Johansson and Duchene. I think a lot of people were under the impression that those guys were real popular in the locker room, and I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think in a lot of ways they were. But I think it says something that Barry Trotz basically for 3-4 months, whatever it was, before the takeover, before the official handover from David Poyle to him, had 3 or 4 months to just walk around that building, to just observe, look, listen, see what happens before practice, see what happens at practice, during games, after games, all that stuff. And then the 2 players that he shipped off were Johansson and Duchene. I think that says a lot. I mean, it doesn't mean that they're bad players, doesn't mean they're bad people, but I think he knew these are the guys that are not getting it done for us. These are the guys that are causing us to continue to repeat the same mistakes over and over again. We need to make that change. And I think I just continue to think about that. I think that is a very important thing to remember about everything that's happened in the last 8 months.
Well, don't forget, he also probably already made some of those decisions prior to the offseason when they traded some important pieces away. One of those pieces was back in Nashville Tuesday night and Matthias Ekholm, and you had Granlund go to Pittsburgh and Chanot down in Tampa. And so, I think that hey, we need a change, like doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results isn't working. So I think that process started. I think Barry, clearly had his hand in on that as well at the trade deadline, right? So that's the other part. There's just a lot of new faces. And by the way, those trades worked out. I mean, they worked out for them, right? Like they got good return on what they sent away.
Yeah, they definitely did. Yeah, I mean, and Tyson Barrie coming back for Matthias Ekholm, he's probably going to be a trade piece this year. I mean, they really would be kind of silly not to. I mean, the guy is going to have a lot of value for a team that needs a good defenseman on their roster going into the postseason. So the Predators could get probably a good bid for him. So that trade will just continue to pay off, assuming that they don't sign him, which I just can't really see at this point. And then, the trades have been pretty crucial. I think the Tanner Jeannot is the one people think about. But yeah, all those moves he's made over the last 6-7 months have been crucial to where we are right now.
Forsberg, unfortunately, was hurt a lot last year. He's got the nice big new contract, and so that just ramp up the attention on him. He's got 3 points through 4 games, none of them goals. He's getting a lot of shots, which is a good thing. The team is getting a lot of shots, but again, kind of like what I said at the beginning, the results really don't look any different when you just get down to it on scoring. Are you concerned, not concerned? What's your thoughts on Forsberg back in the lineup and no goals thus far?
I'm not concerned at all. I don't think I've been concerned about Forsberg in a while. The concussion was pretty bad. I think that was a little worrying. But to be honest, he looks the last 2.5 years, ever since he came back from that lower body injury, like I really think Forsberg has looked the part, and he's doing a lot of the same things he did to get himself in this league. He's playing very physical. He still has a great offensive skill to be able to score goals and make plays. Right now, if you look at it's not just about shots, but I mean, he's getting a lot of really quality scoring chances. He's among the league leaders and getting these early scoring chances in the league right now at 5-on-5. The one area that I would say he needs to really look better in is on the power play. They all need to, but the power play in particular, he has this kind of strange. He seems to hesitate a little bit more on the power play when he's playing on the outside kind of wing area on the boards, just outside the circle there. Whenever he gets the puck from Roman Josi or Tyson Barrie, whoever's there, he just has this strange hesitation, like he's looking for the perfect shot. He's trying to find the angle exactly right, as opposed to just firing on net. Just go. Just trust yourself, trust your instincts. He just needs a little bit more, I guess, aggression on that shooting side, because that's what he's good at. And so that would be the one area I would say he needs to work on. But I watch Forsberg, and I see him do crazy things all night, and I think he's going to be fine. The goals will come. I don't know what kind of production season he'll have, because a lot of that is just how the puck bounces, but I think he's looked okay.
Tomasino looks like is going to be out tonight. No goals for him on the season. Cody Glass is another guy I thought took a nice step last year. No goals on the season. Some of the younger guys, Parson had a good look on Tuesday night, but he's been producing. If he can stay healthy, I think he's going to be just fine. Of the, I guess, the younger guys that have been in there, anybody standing, Evangelista still searching for a goal this season. Some of the younger guys in the lineup, who if you had to pick one that you think, could turn this thing on and help them out, that has the best upside of taking the next step in their career this season, who would you turn to?
Yeah, I think it has to be Evangelista at this point.
Okay.
Tomasino, to me, has a little bit of it's like he's scrambled out there. He doesn't. He kind of gets caught in between trying to do. Does he want to be a playmaker? Does he want to be a transition guy? Does he want to play tight defense? And I just think he's trying to do kind of a lot at once. But Evangelista, I think, if he can just become like what Craig Smith was, I think that's fine. he's a different player than Craig Smith. I think he's a touch more skill than Craig Smith did. But if he could just be the fire on sight out from the outside and fire pucks at the net pretty regularly, I think he's got enough shooting skill to be able to do that. But he needs to show it. I think he's the more likely of there. Tomasino, I just don't really understand what he's doing. And Parsonen, I think Parsons already there, to be honest. Like, I think Parsons, the fact that he's on the top line with O'Reilly and Forsberg, and the coaches pretty immediately in camp were like, yeah, this guy needs to be on the top line. I think that tells you a lot. I mean, the guy is he has the skill, the size, the speed to be able to do that. Yeah, he's going to be fine.
Speaking with Alex Doherty from Penalty Box Radio, did you guys have Anthony Boteto on last night? Is that?
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
how's Tony doing? How's Tony doing?
He's great. He's really good. Obviously he retired. I think he's trying to maybe stay into the world of hockey, maybe in like a development side, but man, he's awesome. We played some of his goal highlights. I think we played all of his goal highlights actually. And
nice.
And no, he's awesome. He's a lot of fun to talk to. One of my favorite Predators to cover. And let's not forget Tony Boteto. His career in Nashville coincides almost exactly with the best run that this Predators team has ever been on. But between 2016 and 2018, he was pretty regularly in that lineup, and he was a big part of it.
He's a great dude to deal with, man. He was awesome. Great guy. I root for him. And whatever he wants to do. By the way, he should probably get into what we're doing, right? He could do that too. He could get in the media side. He could be in the broadcast booth or do something. I mean, Tony's a great guy. He's got a personality. He'd be great at it.
He told us last night, I didn't know this, he thinks he has the record for the most consecutive disallowed goals. He had 3 consecutive disallowed goals. So without having a real goal in there. Yeah. So I think he said he had 2 with Nashville, and then when he got traded to Winnipeg or Minnesota, one of the 2, he had another one right after that. So he had 3 consecutive disallowed goals.
That's crazy. We had
said that's the way to get into the Hall of Fame is to have a stat like that. So that's what he's trying to do.
Well, if I were him, I would hold on to those stats too. Good job by him. We had Barry Trotz on the program last week, and I told him, I just point blank, that did you come up with serial winners, or is that somebody else's word that you've heard over the years in your journeys? And he would not take credit for serial winners. He didn't tell me, I don't think he told us who he heard it from, but he did not take credit for it. I love that term, serial winners. I agree with serial winners. One of those serial winners that he brought in was Luke Shen, and he's out for a month and a half. How much do you think that affects this decor?
I think it actually probably doesn't that much. I mean, Luke Shen is a great locker room guy. I think he's a pretty important guy for them to have. I just think that their other 6 defensemen are really better than him at this point. I mean, Fabro has been great. Carrier has struggled a little bit, but he's got a little bit more to offer at this point. I think Luke Shen, you're right, is the serial winner part is definitely there, and that's why they got him. But the signing never really made a lot of sense to me, just from a numbers standpoint, and we'll see how much he plays after he comes back too. I mean, what if he comes back and is healthy and the decor is rolling and is a well-oiled machine and doing well? I mean, do you just plug him in because you have to? I mean, I don't know that they really need to do that. So the signing never really made a whole lot of sense to me. We'll see where it goes from here. But the rest, the other one is Ryan O'Reilly. Ryan O'Reilly, on the other hand, has been huge.
I like him a lot.
I mean, yeah, the O'Reilly signing, when that happened, it surprised me, but I got it immediately. I understand it exactly, especially being around him now. I mean, he definitely carries that locker room a lot different than the previous couple big name players that were in there did.
The 2 that fit that mold the best that they've brought in are the 2 Ryans, Ryan O'Reilly and Ryan McDonough. They fit what that term right there to me is all about. Like those 2 dudes,
definitely.
Right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and McDonough, I mean, you could tell last year he was frustrated because in some ways, I felt like he was the only one in the room like that. Now he's got a partner.
Yeah, that's right.
You're right.
Kevin Weeks has got into the business of breaking stories a lot here recently, and he's done a good job of it. There's stuff he's putting out there about Connor Garland. Do you think that the Predators have any interest? Where do you think that's going?
Yeah, I think that whole thing started because everyone. I mean, Dante Fabro has been on the trade block for a couple of years now, and I think that's just kind of a natural thing. You know, a team that needs offensive help, team that has defensive surplus. Well, here's a match, and I would imagine that Trotz is doing his due diligence and probably looking at all options. But I think the Luke Shin injury changes that significantly. I don't think they want to trade Dante Fabro now. Connor Garland I think he would fit the style of the Brunette style quite well. He's got speed. He's a smaller guy, but he can make plays. He can score goals. But his price is too high for what he is right now. I mean, he's like a $5 million cap hit. He really isn't. He's more like half that. So you'd be taking on a little bit of an overvalued contract. But if you offload someone that you aren't going to use anyways, like an extra defenseman, then maybe it's worth it. So I think right now that probably is less likely to happen with the shin injury. But it was interesting to see that.
Yeah. Last thing is Leon Draisaitl the new Jerome Iginla? Is that just just going to be painful every time they play the Oilers?
I think he's past the Jerome Iginla stage. He's set his own standard, right?
Oh,
I don't know.
Boy. Oh,
I mean,
boy.
I think Iginla's numbers were pretty crazy, but yeah, Leon Draisaitl.
Well, Iginla scored the most, right? He has scored the most goals against the Predators. I think he's number one.
I think you're right. I'd probably quite a few more games, but yes, right. I think the issue with Draisaitl is it's just so compacted. So he's played 24 games against Nashville, and he has 24 goals, and he's shooting 33%. I mean, like most players, if they have a season where they're shooting 20%, a whole season, that's like you're probably in the race for a trophy or two. He's shooting 33% in his entire career against Nashville, and his numbers in Nashville specifically are pretty crazy as well. But man, that guy's nuts, and so much of it's on the power play, and it just seems easy. It just seems like you can chalk up 2 goals to that guy every time he comes in. I don't know why more people are not putting money down on that. Maybe they are. Maybe they're the ones getting rich and not me. But to be honest, like every time he's against Nashville, just put some money on him scoring a goal or 2.
There's no doubt about that, unfortunately. I don't know when Chicago comes to town. I haven't looked at the schedule. I think it's right. I was thumbing through real quick. So it's January 2nd. So in 2024, kick off the new year. You and Kyle Davidson have any plans when the Blackhawks come to town? Maybe he comes in a little bit early. You guys could do New Year's together. I don't know. Yeah,
I think I'd like to actually. I want to see if I can get up there and just see if we can meet up and hang out for a little while. No, obviously, that'll never happen. But I am a little excited about Connor Bedard madness coming into Nashville. That'll be kind of fun.
Well, the ESPN is certainly excited about Connor Bedard.
Yeah.
Because
I'm sure that's an ESPN game.
They report everything he does. I mean, he is everywhere. But it looks like he's going to live up to the billing, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's very good. I think he's obviously going to be a great goal scorer, a great player in the league. I do think they're doing the kid a little bit of a disservice by just automatically putting him in these categories of where's he going to finish? How quickly is he going to break the rookie scoring record and all this stuff? Let the kid get to Thanksgiving or let the kid get to Christmas first before we start looking at that.
Yeah, but that's just what we do these days. It's just part of it. It's the welcome to the league right away. What is he? 18 years old, and he's got to deal with all that. But that's what happens when you have all that hype. So, hey, appreciate the visit as always, Alex. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk again soon.
Yep, always. Thanks a lot, Darren. Appreciate it. Talk to you later.
Alex Doherty, Penalty Box Radio. Fantastic stuff there from him, as always. Tonight, Predators in New York to take on a very good Rangers team, coached by one Peter Laviolette. And then they'll be back home on Saturday at Bridgestone Arena, which they should take care of business on Saturday against the Sharks. That's just my opinion. All right, we'll take a break. We're wide open the rest of the hour. If you want to get involved, 615-844-5600 is the phone line and the text line. And love to hear from you as you listen to the McFarland Show, Nashville Sports Radio.
When you want down-home cooking, just head downtown. Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville Hotel serves traditional Southern cooking, sourced fresh and local, just like Grandma used to make. Start your day with a Southern smoked breakfast bowl or a Music City omelet. If you're looking for variety, hit the biggest breakfast buffet in Music City or get your fill at the world-famous Biscuit Bar. Kitchen Notes dishes up lunch with traditional Southern tomato pie, country ham, and classic picnic ambrosia. Serving breakfast Monday through Thursday from 7 a.m. to 10:30, and lunch is served 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And Kitchen Notes doesn't forget the brunch crowd. Brunch at Kitchen Notes is every Friday through Sunday from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., featuring cast iron pancakes, made-to-order waffles and eggs, and ice-cold carafes of mimosas. Enjoy farm-to-table Southern dishes made from treasured family recipes. Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. That's 800-649-0142.
With 13 locations nationally, including Smyrna, Star Leasing Company is a semi-trailer one-stop shop and the perfect place to build a career as a semi-trailer mechanic. Seeking candidates with all levels of experience, Star Leasing Company has a semi-trailer technician trainee program with sign-on and quarterly bonuses and other opportunities such as $1,000 for having a yearly physical. Package also includes 401k with company match, health, dental, and vision insurance, competitive pay with weekly paychecks, and paid holidays and time off. Star Leasing Company, not your typical semi-trailer leasing company. Visit starleasing.com to learn more.
Five-state forecast.
Your exclusive National Sports Radio, WNSR Skyscan forecast. Today will turn out mostly cloudy with a couple of afternoon showers and thunderstorms, a high 72. Cloud showers and a thunderstorm tonight, low 54. Partly sunny, stray shower, thunderstorm Friday. Utilizing the resources of the WeatherBug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Rinaldi.
Sports Radio, WNSR.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Let's go back to the phone. Stan has been waiting patiently. Stan, what's up?
I'm sorry. I'm officially turning in my Vanderbilt fan wardrobe. It's just never going to happen, guys. You go and lose to UNLV, and the week before, mistake-ridden, lost to Wake Forest.
The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin on Nashville Sports Radio, WNSR.
Give us a call, 615-844-5600. The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Tomorrow night's high school game of the week, White House at Pearl Cone. Coverage with Joe Fisher and Jonathan Schaefer starting at 6:45 here on these airwaves. White House at Pearl Cone. It's the game of the week tomorrow night. Gosh, it's already Friday. Back here on the McFarland Show, Darren McFarland here, Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. Adam Johnson is alongside. 615-844-5600 is the phone line and the text line. Appreciate Alex Doherty for joining me, having a good hockey discussion with him. He's fantastic at what he does. Let's go to Nate down in Columbia. Nate, what's up?
What's up, guys? I don't know if you were able to check Twitter during the break, Darren. And yes, I will always call it Twitter and tweeting. I will never call it X and posting and all of that. Posting is for Facebook, which I don't have anymore. Tweeting is for Twitter, which is what X is. It is Twitter and will always be Twitter.
Okay.
But I don't know if you were able to check that social.
I just pulled it up just now.
Okay. I have posted a couple pictures from a while ago when Anthony Boteto was on the Preds, and I have a quick story. So after the game, I was hanging out and, like everybody else, seeing which player was going to come up. And it was Anthony Boteto. And may have had a few brewskis during the game. And
you were 21? You don't look 21 in this picture.
Was I had to go quickly find those because I put them somewhere that I couldn't remember where they were. But so I went up to him and, or I was, listening to him talk and everything. And after the interview, I apparently just ignored the handler and walked right up to Boteto and asked for a picture. He said yes. The handler apparently was trying to say no, but I apparently was just ignoring him or her. I can't remember if it was a he or she. And I got that picture, and that was Pete Weber's 2000th game they called, and so that was a pretty cool night.
Wow. Yeah, Anthony he's a cool dude, man. He's a great dude. If you had a problem with Anthony Boteto, that's a you problem.
Yeah.
And I'm not surprised he stopped to take a picture. He was not going to say no to anybody.
And also, y'all were talking about the Connor Garland news, and I listened to Elliot Friedman earlier today, and he said that there were talks, but he gets the sense now that the Preds weren't as deep on Connor Garland as it may have seemed.
Interesting.
And that, yes, this Luke Shin situation probably has, died that down a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably softened it a bit, at least when it comes to the Predators.
Yeah.
So what do you think? I'm going to ask you the same thing. You're all in. You've been you're a diehard fan. You watch this team. You pay attention to this team. I'll ask you exactly what I asked Alex from Jump on that interview. How do you assess this team? What's your assessment of the Preds through 4 games? I get it. 4 games and 78 to go.
I mean, just because, like I said before, when we discussed this previously, I'm very encouraged with what I see just because it's a different, and I know there's not much variation between systems and forms of hockey, but I guess it was kind of boring with John Hines, and it obviously wasn't boring with Peter Laviolette, but it's more of a fast-paced game. We had more scoring chances. It was more defensive and kind of slower with Hines and Laviolette, but I'm encouraged. I like what I see. Obviously, it's going to take some time, like GM Trotz said, and I just like what I see. It's I'm looking forward to see what comes.
Okay, good stuff. Nate, appreciate the phone call.
Yeah, you have a great day.
You do the same. 615-844-5600 is the phone line and the text line. I'll just say what I've already said, and that's fine. I get it, and you should feel the way Nate just said. Alex said the same thing. Greg Pogue said it when I sat in here with him. Everybody should feel that way because things changed. And this is where the slippery slope with the Titans is coming into play. They're going down the same path. Well, they've been going down the same path. The difference is now they're not winning, and so now it gets magnified. But they're going down the same path that the Predators were going down in the John Hines system, where it was fine. They'd always find a way there at the very, very end. They get in the playoffs. They don't, they weren't making any noise in the playoffs, but they were getting into the playoffs, and there's nothing wrong with it. That's an accomplishment. It's hard. It's hard to get into the playoffs. Even though half the league gets it, it's still hard, okay? But change, because right now through 4 games, that's why I'm asking people, really, like the results and the scoring and all that stuff, really nothing's changed. It looks different, but really what you're feeling more than anything is it feels different, right? There's a new head coach. There's a new system. There's a new general manager. There's new players. And that's where I think the Titans are going down the same path because they're not winning. It's not a fun style to watch. They're boring. They don't score much. And I think the Titans are at that crossroads. They really are. That's why I'm going to be very curious to see what they do at the trade deadline, and then more curious to see if this kind of just plays out the way we all think it's going to play out, and they end up being a 7-10 team, what they do this offseason, because they're going to have to mix it up. Now, they're not going to do what I just described the Predators just did, change front office, change coach, change a bunch of, but they're going to have to do something. Like, there will be players changed for sure. They've got a new GM. They're not going anywhere with that. They're not getting rid of Mike Vrabel. So there will be player changes, and it can't be just, player 52 on the roster. It's going to have to, there's going to have to be some impact felt. There'll have to be a ripple effect on what they do. Let's go back to the phone lines. Bob is up next. Bob, what's up?
Well, I'm a Predator fan, day one, season ticket holder, that kind of thing. I feel optimistic about things so far. It's only 4 games. Nobody in his right mind would have thought that their scoring was going to take a huge leap. I think that, as you've mentioned yourself, I think that this year the objective is to find out who might have the potential to be, those goal scorers, and then I predict that the next 2 or 3 years, counting this one, they'll move people in and out. People this year who maybe some of the younger players who've been around a couple of years and who don't look like they're going to pan out, they might be moved, and then they might bring in prospects, et cetera. But I think the whole thing's going to take 2 or 3 years. And I've got a question for you. If at the end of this year they're clearly not going to make the playoffs, do you think that they will try to move O'Reilly and McDonough and some of those guys, or do you think to get some more prospects, or do you think that, and hopefully it won't come to that, but do you think that they'll keep those guys around for the next 2 or 3 years?
Bob, it's a really good question. I agree with you on the 2 to 3 year plan. I don't, because I do believe Barry Trotz is looking for those type of players, and you have to have a mix, right? You have to have a blend of the young guys and veteran guys, and I think those are the type of veteran guys that Barry Trotz is trying to bring and implement into this roster. And I think if you're going to have, let's say, a divide, a half veterans, half young guys, cheap young guys. The veteran guys, like you already have Yossi, right? So you've got some usual suspects. But when it comes to new, it's guys like Ryan O'Reilly and Ryan McDonough that Barry's going to keep surrounding them. I think he's going to keep guys like that in the room, because I do think when you think of the term serial winner, which I said when Alex Doherty was on, I think Ryan McDonough and Ryan O'Reilly, like those guys are the poster childs. If you looked up serial winners in the dictionary, it would have pictures of them. I think there are more guys like that around the league. I think Barry will continue to search for guys like that. I don't think he's going to get rid of guys like that. I think those are 2, and then he'll just keep surrounding those guys and the young guys whenever they establish the core that they're looking for. And maybe it's a Kimmel down the road, right? I know they love him, but we don't know, Bob, if it translates to NHL level. They'll figure out the young core, and it'll be guys like that they'll keep, and they'll keep adding into that room, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I hope you're right, because I like both of those guys. Yeah, I think I speak for a lot of Predator fans in that, I feel like this year and next year will be kind of like treading water. I don't think anybody expects that if they get in the playoffs or even get in the playoff hunt, that's just a bonus, because it'll give those young guys meaningful games to play. But I think it's a lot more important to develop the culture, and then just give the young guys a chance. And I really and evidently you too, from what you're saying about your conversations with other Predator fans, feel like most of the fan base is patient and just kind of wants to give these kids a chance to prove themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Bob, appreciate it as always.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day. We'll take our final break, come back, wrap up the first hour next.
In a single moment, everything can change. When a player's sudden cardiac event brought a national football game to a halt, it shone a spotlight on the importance of CPR readiness. Now, with youth sports in full swing, the American Heart Association is rallying parents and coaches to be ready in an emergency. To be ready, learn hands-only CPR. It's a skill anyone can learn in minutes. Visit heart.org/hands-only-CPR and become a lifesaver today.
Dinner with Friends is a fine dining restaurant in Nashville's prestigious West End. It features an elegant presentation and exceptional service. One of the first non-alcoholic restaurants in Nashville. A popular choice among locals and tourists alike. If you're in town for the ball game or you're just visiting with friends, Dinner with Friends is the preferred location for those seeking a rich, modern restaurant with serene atmosphere and top-notch guest experience. 1719 West End Avenue. Dinner with Friends, a proud sponsor of TSU football on WNSR.
Post-COVID travel is on a surge. Many of you are traveling for fun because you've been locked up for 2 years. Listen, whether you're traveling for fun to Italy, Greece, Spain, France, or somewhere else fun in the world, or USA, now is a great time to book before the crowds hit and save. Plus, with a strong U.S. dollar, you'll get more travel bang for your buck. Right now is a smart time to make your reservations and call low-cost airlines. With one phone call, you can let us do all the work for free. We'll shop hundreds of airlines, hotels, resorts, and give you a way to save huge money on your vacation plans. And if you call right now, we'll give you a free hotel room with a qualified travel purchase. So call right now.
800-704-1662. 800-704-1662. 800-704-1662. That's 800-704-1662.
And now, Thompson Handyman is reminding motorists to slow down on our roadways, keep an eye out for kids at play, and never text and drive. This message is brought to you by Thompson Handyman, serving Middle Tennessee since 1997. For all your home remodeling and handyman needs, give the pros a call today at 629-248-0022. 629-248-0022. That's Thompson Handyman, going the extra mile for safety. They're professionals who care.
The Jim Rome Show.
I get a lot of vacation. I understand that. However, I don't take a lot of sick days. These things are not one and the same. That was not like I worked 8 straight days or I worked Super Bowl Sunday. I think I'll give myself a day off. I earned it. Hey, and by the way, I could because I have those days. I pride myself in not taking sick days. I hate that. We usually grind through it. But honestly, it was the right thing. In that case, it was the right thing.
The Jim Rome Show. Weekdays 11 to 2 on Nashville's Sports Radio.
Give us a call, 615-844-5600. The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Terry McCormick in the second hour. It'll be about 3:15-ish. We'll catch up with him. Talk all things Titans. Keep it on the Predators discussion. Eric down in Columbia texted in and said, I don't think Duchesne was. When Duchesne first got here, all he cared about was the money. I'm not sure that Duchesne, that's all he cared about with the money. I'll tell you my thoughts. I'll tell you something they won't tell you about Matt Duchesne. I liked Matt Duchesne. I didn't have a problem with Matt Duchesne. I think their biggest problem was Matt Duchesne was probably a little bit too much of a me guy. And that's probably what rubbed some people the wrong way. And I think that it was a little bit, maybe not to the same extent. PK Subban, PK Subban did a lot of good here. He did. Okay. There was a lot of good things that came out of PK being here. And look, he was a big part of their run to the Stanley Cup final. But with PK, it's a lot of work at times. It just is. And that good on him because, look, he had a brand and he was about building his brand. And you have every right to do that. There's nothing wrong with building your brand, but it became a bit too much at times, and some would even view that as a distraction. I don't always agree with some people that it really rubbed them the wrong way how much he did. Again, I don't have a problem with athletes wanting to build their brand. That is their right. but I think at times it did serve as a distraction. I think on the Duchesne front, I think it was probably a little bit sometimes too much about him, and that didn't sit well with some. And you can't have those type of guys in a room if you're trying to go a certain direction. You got to have those team guys. That's just my opinion. Being around Matt Duchesne, I liked him. I did, but it was definitely a lot about him if you talk to him. That'll do it for hour number 1. When we come back, we'll continue the discussion. Like I said, Terry McCormick at about 3:15. More of the McFarland Show next.
.560 AM, 95.9 FM, Brentwood, Nashville, 107.9 FM, Smyrna, Nashville's first 24-hour sports station. WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
ABC News, I'm Rena Roy. The State Department says 32 Americans are now among the 1,400 killed by Hamas terror attacks in Israel. 11 Americans are still unaccounted for, and an unknown number of Americans are among the nearly 200 hostages being held in Hamas-controlled Gaza. Gaza's health ministry says more than 3,700 Palestinians have died, and humanitarian aid convoys are waiting to get in. Reports say Israel's defense minister visited troops amassed along the Gaza border, telling them to be ready. ABC's Inez de la Cutera is in Jerusalem.
There was some back and forth over the last few days with some officials talking about how what we actually see might be different than what we expect, but it does appear like some kind of ground operation is inevitable.
Sidney Powell, the one-time attorney for former President Trump, accused of spreading false claims about the 2020 election, has pleaded guilty. She faced racketeering charges in Fulton County, Georgia, and agreed to testify. This is ABC News.
Imagine getting ahead of your irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C by treating it with Linzess. Then you could start proactively managing your constipation with belly pain and get ahead of your symptoms. Talk to your doctor about Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
I've got a unique vacation idea for you that's right here in the United States. If you're ready for a vacation that's fun and downright affordable, listen up. It's driving distance for many of you, so no planes, no airline delays, no hassles. It's Branson, Missouri, the entertainment capital of the Midwest. Live music for everyone. Branson has 3 beautiful, enormous lakes, water attractions, live shows, great food, and tons of entertainment. It's a perfect vacation for you and your family, or if you're retired and you want to have a great time. And you can stay in Branson for as low as $99 a night. Please understand, this is not a timeshare offer. It's a real vacation for as little as $99 a night. We've got a free vacation guide we want to send you right now. All you have to do is call for complete details. Get your free Branson, Missouri guide right now by calling this number.
800-413-3953. 800-413-3953. 800-413-3953. That's 800-413-3953.
Listen, you can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare studios.
Just a bit outside.
Now back to the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Throw me the money!
Call or text now. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Call us or send us a text on the WNSR text line. 615-844-5600. 615-844-5600. Call or text. Same number. Alrighty then. Now the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Second hour of the McFarland Show. Darren McFarland here, Strike and Spare Family Fun Center Studio. 615-844-5600 is the phone line. We'll switch gears, talk a little bit about the Titans in about 10 minutes. Big matchup tonight, Thursday Night Football, AFC South implications, says the Jags, who lead the division, will be down in New Orleans, down in Big Easy, to take on the Saints. Trevor Lawrence is banged up, but is expected to play. So we'll see how he's dealing with a knee injury, and we'll see how that affects him tonight. This is not going to be an easy matchup. The Saints have a very good defense. They're at home. It's Thursday Night Football. Jags looked good against the Colts on Sunday. Quick turnaround. It'll be interesting to see how this game plays out. It's a low line. I think the line's like 2.5. I wouldn't be surprised if the Saints don't win. Derek Carr is actually, when he hurt his AC joint in his shoulder back in, I think, week 2, a lot of people expect him to miss time. He's actually been playing through it and continues to get better every week. He had over 350 yards passing last week. So I think the Saints are going to beat the Jags tonight. They're going to do the Titans a favor and win that game. So that should be an interesting game tonight. Last night, you heard me bring this up several times. In fact, Greg Poe called in at the end of the show yesterday, the first installment of the Big Blue TSU Tigers radio show, which was powered by Prince's Hot Chicken. And boy, if you want hot chicken, they got real hot chicken. I mean, if you want to go I'm just saying, if you want to go there, shine up a dirty penny, they got sauces that'll shine up a dirty penny. But anyway, on that show last night, I guess Howard Gentry, who, of course, anybody who knows anything about TSU and Howard Gentry know that they are attached to them. He has been around that program for a very, very long time. Jumped on the headset because there were some comments, and we talked about this yesterday on the show, that was put out there in the Tennessean. Mike Organ put a piece out there. He caught up with Eddie George. Eddie George made a comment after the game, the win on Saturday. He followed up a couple of days later, and Eddie continued to be disappointed with the crowd. So there was something out there about the crowd, or lack of, for the homecoming game on Saturday, and Howard wanted to address that last night here on these airwaves, and this is some things that he said.
I'm going
well,
there.
Then let me set it up then, Eddie.
You don't have to set it up.
Okay, go ahead. You set it up.
No. Then you won't have to be quoted. The fact is that we have the greatest fans in the world. And unfortunately, we've kind of forgotten that. And we travel great. I've been to every ball game for the last 3 years, every game. And I go to all the games, but, I've intentionally gone because I'm not broadcasting and doing any of that anymore. But I've been following Tennessee State my entire life. This is not our first time having losing seasons. We've had losing seasons before, and we have always supported our team. I have never experienced this situation. We've been in the OVC for, 30 years? And so I've never experienced the fact that our fans will travel on the road and not come to our home games. We haven't been in the hole for 30 years. I want to be in the hole. I never wanted to come out of the hole. I hate not playing on campus. But the fact is, this is what we have to do. It's not Eddie George's fault. It's not Mickey Allen's fault. It's not the president's fault. It's nobody's fault anymore. This is what we were given 30 years ago, and we're stuck with it. So it is what it is. And so I want to say to the fans, y'all can get mad at me if you want. I got 71 years at Tennessee State University. If any of y'all can come close to that, come talk to me. I have been a part of TSU my entire life. I give to TSU. TSU gave to me. I would not be who I am today if it were not for TSU. It is an insult to those kids. I don't call them men, those kids, to not come out and cheer for them when they play the ball game at home. That's all I got to say about that. No, it's not all I got to say about it. If anybody wants to talk about it, we'll talk about it. But I am insulted. as an alumnus, I'm insulted that my friends won't come in that stadium and watch the ball game, but they'll stay out there and tailgate. And don't come tell me we've been tailgating all our lives. I've been tailgating with you. But when you leave and don't come back and you don't cheer this team forward, that is just wrong. And you do not have a valid excuse for it. You do not have one. And so what I'm saying to you is, as long as they put those uniforms on and go out on that field, Howard Gentry is going to be there. And anybody that's staying away, barring the fact that they just can't come, don't try to give me an excuse for that. Don't try to give me one, because you're being unfair to these young men. They chose TSU. They chose TSU. They chose to come. They could play somewhere else. They're here. And we have to do our part, and that's just all it is to it. You go there and you see the Titans lose. You're not mad at them. You know, if the University of Tennessee, when they come to Nashville, they fill up the stadium, whether they win or lose. We go to Vanderbilt when they lose. Come on, guys. Come on, fans. Let's get off this, and let's support this team. Let's support these kids. Let's support these kids. Now, again, you want to talk to me about it, you can see me anywhere you want to, and I'm not begging for votes here. If you don't want to vote for me again, I know I'm right, and you're wrong by not coming to the ball game. Anything else you want to hear?
No.
All right.
No.
Say it louder.
Bit of news yesterday, which I think is really cool. TSU has announced a home-and-home series with fellow HBCU institution Howard University next year on October 19th in D.C., and then back here at Nissan Stadium on October 18th. And it just continues. Of course, Arkansas Pine Bluff just had Norfolk State, and it continues, I think, a really, obviously Arkansas Pine Bluff in the Southern Heritage Classic, and now this.
So let's go there for a minute. You ask for more historically black colleges and universities. You're getting them. Don't think because you didn't show up at homecoming that they just made that decision. The only way they could have rolled those games out the next day was that they made those decisions a year ago, 2 years ago, to start moving in that direction. Everything you're asking for, they're providing. They're giving. You say we want to win. They're winning. You say we want to play more HBCUs. I do too. We're doing it. Everything you're asking for. Now, if you want us to move to the SWAC or the MEAC, we're going to talk about that. We never were there. Why should we go? We need to move up. But the only way we can move up is for the fans to come into the stadium, because if we don't have a fan base, we cannot move up. And they're putting all the resources that they have, and all the visions are for Tennessee State to play at the highest level, but we got to support the team in doing that. So I'm not really fussing. I'm just being serious. Come on, guys.
Oh, he's fun.
Come on, ladies. Let's support our Big Blue.
All right, there you go. Some very candid comments. And no, Howard, my mic was on. I didn't realize it was on. You're fussing. It's okay. It's okay. Look, if anybody, you just said it. If anybody's got the right, Howard Gentry, to say something about Tennessee State, it's you, my man. And you were frustrated. I think you feel the sentiments of the head coach, Eddie George. I know Eddie George came on with Greg Pogan, John Burton earlier today, and said this was the last time he's really going to talk about this. He's said his piece, and he's ready to move on, and I get it. There's several things in play on this. One, recruits come out, and look, you want it to be a good showing, right? You wanted to show that people care about the program. People are in the stands. Nick Saban did this years ago because it was really more about, I think, some of the out-of-conference games, and so they would get these Cupcake U, and they'd be up big at half, and everybody would go outside to tailgate, and nobody would, and 20,000 wouldn't come back in. And I think he was ticked about it. And so he went on a rant about this. But, when you're Nick Saban, you're winning national championships, and you're in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, which, that we all know what that program means to that area, to that state, you can say it. And you have the clout of Nick Saban. And people will respond, because immediately right after that, Yeah, you didn't see anybody leaving the stadium after that. So I get it. I do. So, and I understand Howard's frustrations. I know Eddie's frustrations. I didn't exactly agree with some of the examples that was put out there. When the Titans lose, the people are mad. They are mad. And we've seen them not show up. We've certainly been through that in the 25 years here. Vanderbilt, I don't know why you would ever put them in an example of people showing up, because certainly that's been a huge problem on the football
the
side
other
of
team
things.
buys the tickets.
Oh, they show up.
Yeah, like the Georgia game, that was all Georgia fans.
Yeah, and I've been there for that. Just like 5 years ago, I think they opened the season against Georgia. I was there on that Saturday night, and I was sitting there half the game with my jaw on the ground because it was 90%. It was sold out. 90% Georgia. Like, you had to find Vanderbilt fans. You had to look hard in the sea of red. And I get it. Again, they're winning national championships. That program is already a big program. Then you start winning national championships. The fan base, they're doing that everywhere. It's not just here. I mean, they'll take over a lot of stadiums if you'll let them. But there is something about, the recruits and just having a good look, and the kids that are playing and busting their butts. And by the way, they're having a good season. They really are. So I get it. And we carry the games here on this station, on these airwaves. And so I just thought that was important to play that took place last night here on these airwaves with that TSU Tigers radio show last night, powered by Princess Chicken. And there was a lot of good points made in there. When we come back, we'll switch gears. We'll talk a little Titans. Speaking of the Titans, we'll talk a little Titans football with Terry McCormick. He's been covering the team since they've been here, and we'll get his take on what he thinks of this team the rest of the way. And we'll do that next here on the McFarland Show, Nashville Sports Radio.
Quick, convenient, efficient. 3 words that we all hope to experience when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to bring just that to an industry that's traditionally dictated to the customer when it's time to do business. Whether you're purchasing class pictures in a yearbook, class jewelry, a letter jacket, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience quick, convenient, and efficient. Find out more at jhacompany.com. JHA, your one source for an unparalleled scholastic experience.
Located at 5410 Murfreesboro Road in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers is one-stop shopping for all your liquor, beer, and wine needs, and has been a multiple winner annually in the Best of Rutherford County voting for Best Liquor Store and Top Wine Shop. Featuring the lowest prices, the best customer service with unsurpassed knowledge, City Slickers offers the largest craft beer selection in Rutherford and southeastern Davidson counties and has beer on tap at its Growler filling station. City Slickers also sells mixers, sodas, snacks, tobacco products, and the Tennessee Lottery, and can place special orders and assist with all your events and even wedding planning. Make sure you follow City Slickers on all their social media or just give them a call at 615-280-7469. That's 615-280-7469. Located in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. That's 800-649-0142.
Golfers, swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new fall arrivals from TaylorMade, Callaway, and Titleist. Come by and test drive the new TaylorMade P790 irons, the new Callaway Apex Pro iron sets, and the new Titleist T-Series irons. While you're there, get a free custom fitting on the new arrivals and more. Edwin Watts Golf Shops is your headquarters for all the latest golf gear from all the top manufacturers. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Shop us in store or online at edwinwattsgolf.com.
This is the Greg Pogue and John Burton Show.
So it's Miss Amy now for everybody, right?
Apparently it's Miss Amy.
It's Miss Amy, Miss Amy.
I call her AAS.
I call her owner. And then
The boss.
You know what she is? She's a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Damn, bro. She's a gangster.
She knows what
she's a gangster.
She knows what she's doing.
Yep.
Greg Pogue and News Channel 5's John Burton, WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
You're listening to The McFarland Show live on WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
Back here on the McFarland Show, Darren McFarland here in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. Adam Johnson is alongside for the ride. Justin McFarland, the other half of the show, is out today and tomorrow. He's out of the country, which is where the Titans were last week in their loss to the Ravens. They were out of the country against the Ravens. Let's bring in Terry McCormick from TitanInsider.com and Main Street Media. He has been... You've been out of the country before, right?
Actually, no.
Really?
I have. I've been out of the United States, not with the Titans, but yes, I've been out of the United States.
You've never been over there?
No.
Never been to Europe?
No, not been to Europe.
You need to talk to the folks. You get Titan Insider to send you to London one of these days.
Yeah, I know. The big part of that problem is that a big part of Titan Insider's budget is my budget.
Fair enough. I know a little bit about that, so I understand where you're coming from. So, there's a lot of chatter on what to do here. And there's, if you, not to play doctor on the radio, but here goes. It doesn't feel like Ryan Tannehill's going to be back when they come back from this bye week against the Falcons, right?
No, I would be shocked.
Me too.
Back.
Me too.
I mean, it's possible, but I think there's a very good chance he misses both this game and the Steelers game.
Okay. So, we know what's behind him. Okay? Second-year quarterback Malik Willis, rookie quarterback Will Levis. Two guys that they have traded up to get the last 2 years in the draft. Malik Willis got some playing time in London against the Ravens. Quite honestly, it felt like in preseason that he did look better, that he was taking steps in the right direction. And quite honestly, in my opinion, I want to get yours, I didn't feel the same after watching for a quarter and a half in London. I felt like, I don't want to say regressed, or maybe just look like last season, his rookie year. What do you think?
I think it looked a lot like last year. I mean, there were a couple times where he looked poised in the pocket and, made one play with his feet and, had a nice pass to Nick Westbrook-Akina. But overall, I saw too much of the same stuff that I saw in 2022. And that's holding on to the ball, not having the pocket presence, not having that clock in your head that you've got to get rid of the ball. And that, open in the NFL and open at Liberty are not the same thing. And that's what he's got to learn.
So, with that being said, let me ask you who you would. Then we'll find out who you think they're actually going to put out there. Who would you put out there against the Falcons in the throwbacks, in the Oiler, the Oil Derrick helmet, which I love. I think it's going to be an awesome scene next Sunday. I am pro doing the uniforms that they're going to trot out there at Nissan Stadium, but who would you put out there?
Yeah. First of all, let me say this. I agree with you, And I think if that, and maybe Amy Adams Strunk is listening to this. If she is, you don't have to give me a cut of the royalties or whatever. But I think the Titans should incorporate that uniform into what they wear normally and figure out a way to have a Titans logo on the helmet, but with those jerseys and pants of the Houston Oilers.
I don't think I've ever thought about that. You make that work?
Somebody can. There are a lot of creative people in the world.
There are some smart people in the world. So who are you putting out there?
I'm putting Will Levis out there because I want to see what he is. I want to see what he is. If I'm Mike Vrabel, if I'm Tim Kelly, I want to see what he is and see how much he's progressed and see how far he has to go. And if you think he has any hope of being a franchise quarterback, which you obviously have drafted him to be. So that's what I would do. Now, here's what I also think they should do, and what I kind of think they will do. I think they spent this bye week looking at both of them, trying to get a handle on which guy is more ready for the job. But I also think that you have to get both of these guys ready, both of them. Give them both first-team reps. Give them both looks in practice. Give them both, a set of plays that you want them to run against the Atlanta Falcons. Because here's the thing. If you start Malik Willis and he looks like he did over there in London, or he looks like he did in 2022, you got to pull the plug on that while it's still a game and get Will Levis in there and get him ready to go. Same thing is true in reverse. If you start Will Levis and the moment's too big for him and he looks like Matt Mock or he looks like Rusty Smith in their first starts, you better have Malik Willis up to speed on the game plan and ready to go in at a moment's notice.
Kevin in Florida on our text line says, it doesn't matter who's at quarterback. If your offensive line can't pass or run block, you're not going to win. Except for the first-round draft pick, the rest of the offensive line were all backups elsewhere or released by other teams. Invest in your offensive line instead of being cheap. Then you might start winning. There are a lot of people that say, what difference does it make? It's not going to look different because the offensive line can't protect. What say you?
I say he's spot on. I think that you have to build this offensive line. You have to start building it the right way, and that's hitting on draft picks. Darren, you and I go back a long way with this franchise, back to when they first got here. Benji Olsen wasn't a high-round pick. David Stewart wasn't a high-round pick, but they had the ability to sit those guys for a year, then develop them into top-quality offensive linemen so that you're not spending first and second-round picks every single year on an offensive lineman. Yeah, you got to do it. You got to spend a high pick to get a left tackle. You may have to spend a second or third round pick to get a center that, that's smart enough to handle everything. But you got to develop offensive linemen through your system. Fixing an offensive line with free agents and cast-offs and things like that just doesn't work. It's like trying to fix a bad bullpen in baseball. Once the season starts, you can't do it.
And what's your honest, it's just your opinion, right? We'll never know. We'll never know. But I'm just asking your opinion. Do you think Aaron Rodgers would have had the same exact career if he would have started his rookie year and there wasn't a Brett Favre and they drafted him in the first round, and even though he slid, but they still drafted him in the first round, and they would have put him out there at some point his rookie year? I'm not even saying day one, but at some point his rookie year. Would Aaron Rodgers' career still look the same in your opinion?
Probably so, because the Packers had a good offensive line and a good offense for him to work behind.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
Patrick Mahomes, what if he started his rookie year, even though they had Alex Smith his rookie year, would Patrick Mahomes still look the same today?
I think so. I mean, I don't think it would have wrecked him. I don't think it would have shell-shocked him. When the team is pretty good, the Chiefs were already a playoff team with Alex Smith, correct? Or close.
I don't remember what they were the year before, because remember they did trade up, So they did. So I'm trying to think. What, they drafted him at 15. They traded up to get him. So they must have been pretty good the year before to be down in the maybe early 20s.
They may have been a playoff team. They weren't. The point I'm trying to make, they weren't 4-12.
No.
Picking fifth in the draft.
Correct.
They were a pretty decent team. Conversely, you take a guy like Tim Couch, David Carr. Those guys were ruined because they played for terrible teams.
For crap teams. Yep.
Yes, and they couldn't. The offensive line wasn't good enough. The receivers weren't good enough. The running game wasn't good enough. None of that was good enough to help them out. So no matter which quarterback plays against the Falcons, I would expect to see the Titans go back to what this is going to force the Titans to go back to what they need to go back to, and that's running the heck out of Derrick Henry.
That's where I'm going with this. There's a lot, and there's other examples I could use. I just, for the people that are like, you're going to ruin him. No, I disagree. Because, by the way, Justin Herbert was thrown out there from day one.
Well, because
Eli Manning was out there in day one. Peyton Manning was out there in day one. And it didn't always look pretty. I didn't say it looked pretty their rookie years, right? I didn't say it was great from jump. They go through, everybody's going to go through their struggles. I can start listing all the quarterbacks that are good in this league that were out there in day one or their rookie year, and it doesn't affect it. The point to me is, Terry, I believe either you're good enough to make it or you're not. The team isn't ruining you. The offensive line isn't ruining you. You're just not good enough. That's why it doesn't work. It's not because, they put you out there too early. You weren't good enough. David Carr wasn't good enough. Okay? This is my personal opinion. Either you're good enough to make it in this league or you're not. That's the way I view it.
I see that to a certain extent, and I don't completely disagree with you. In fact, I agree with you a lot on that. But there have been cases where a guy is terrible early on and then figures it out after a little while.
Look, let me give you another example, Terry, real quick. And I want you to finish your point on guys that develop a little bit later, and it's a good point you're bringing up. Remember, and I'm drawing blanks on the guy that just wore a ski mask from the Packers to the Seahawks. They paid money for him. Everybody thought he was going to be the starter. They drafted Russell. What was his name? Matt Flynn. Thank you. Ski mask. Stole a lot of money in the NFL. Matt Flynn. Seahawks pay him. They bring him out there. Everybody thinks he's going to be the starter. They drafted Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson beats him out. They start Russell Wilson from jump. Didn't affect Russell Wilson.
No. And Russell Wilson was obviously good enough. I mean, but like I said, there have been a case, like you mentioned Alex Smith. Alex Smith's first year with the 49ers was a disaster. No other way to put it. He was terrible. But he was one of those guys that as he went on, he figured it out. That's happened a few times over the years, but more likely or not, most people will tell you that, Trevor Lawrence was terrible his rookie year because he had horrible coaching. But, now he's figured it out. So I think it's one of those situations, Darren, where it depends on the guy you have. Steve McNair was probably always going to be a good quarterback, but he wasn't ready to be a good quarterback when the Oilers drafted him in 1995. He needed to sit a couple of years and learn because he'd never played in a pro-style system. It's for lack of a better comparison, it's kind of like what Malik Willis is going through right now. He was, you can start from square one. He was starting further back than square one because he played at Liberty. And now the Titans are trying to coach the Liberty out of him.
Yeah, I don't think it doesn't matter the offensive line, in my opinion, with Malik Willis. I just don't think he's ready. I don't know if he'll ever be ready. It doesn't mean that he can't be ready at some point. I just don't think he is still pretty far from being an everyday starting quarterback in the NFL. And quite honestly, it may never be his day. He may never be good enough. So that's kind of where I'm at on. I just think that I am not against Will Levis being trotted out there because I'm worried about his future development. Because here's the deal. Either Will Levis is going to be good enough or Will Levis is not going to be good enough. That's the way I view it.
That's a fair point. That is a fair point. Now, like I said, would it be better if he were playing behind the Eagles' offensive line as opposed to the Titans' offensive line? certainly it would be, because it would give him a chance to relax, to have a better pocket presence, and to do more. When you're constantly under duress, the way we've seen Ryan Tannehill. By the way, I've got a stat for you. How many times do you think Ryan Tannehill has been sacked since the start of the 2021 season in the 36 games he's played in regular season and playoffs?
36 games. I'm going to say 85.
Try 100.
Ooh. Yeah.
100. That's a lot of sacks. And that doesn't count all the times he was hit delivering the ball.
Right.
know?
You're not talking about hurries or hits. You're just talking about sacks.
Right. I mean, I think, at least one of the times with the ankle injury, he got the pass off. This is the third time that ankle's been injured over the last 2 years. At least one of those times, maybe in two or three of all three, he got the pass off. It didn't occur on a sack. What I'm saying with this is, and with any quarterback, the more time you have, obviously, the better it is for you. But you're right in regards to, you have to have that clock in your head. You have to have that ability to process information quickly and deliver the football where it needs to go if you're going to be a successful NFL quarterback, no matter if you're a mobile quarterback, a pocket passer, or some type of hybrid in between.
Do you think Rand Carthon, from now until the end of the month, the trade deadline, that something's going to happen with this roster?
Wouldn't rule it out, but I'm not really expecting it either. And here's the thing. How many tradable assets do they have on their roster? Maybe 3-4 guys, tops.
Wow. That's a problem if you only have 3 or 4 tradable assets. That's
I mean, somebody that somebody would really want, that, a team that's a receiver away would say, we'll take DeAndre Hopkins. A team that's a safety away would say, we'll take Kevin Byard. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You can trade anybody. You can trade, you can trade a backup guard, but doesn't mean that anybody's going to give you anything for him. And that's a big problem too, in terms of NFL and trades, especially trades in season and even on draft day.
Do you think they could get anything for T.R. Tart?
Players who are known commodities, Darren. Didn't Brandon Cooks get traded for like a 6th-round pick or something like that?
Yeah.
Well, how many 6th-round picks in the league are going to be better than Brandon Cooks?
Right.
The players, if you were to move Derrick Henry or DeAndre Hopkins and somebody gives you a 4th-round pick, would you rather have Derrick Henry? Would you rather have DeAndre Hopkins? Or would you rather have the 120th best player in next year's draft?
The first option.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. That's more than fair. What about a guy like T.R. Tart? Because it does feel like Steve Lehman came on here on Tuesday's show, and I asked him, who was Jeffrey Simmons? Who's Big Jeff talking about? And it seems like and I think you're out there, so it seems like the media contingency is looking at T.R. Tart. Do you one? Let's just start there. Do you think that's who he was talking about?
I'd say it's a decent chance of it, yeah.
Okay, so there's some unrest with people about whatever's going on with T.R. Tart. Is that something you think Rand Carthon should be looking to move if it's a problem that's got players saying stuff publicly about it?
Yeah, but again, he'd be a hard guy to replace once he's back. Here's the thing with T.R. Tart, and I'll throw this out there, but where I'm going with this, once I get done with it, you'll go, yep, I see what you're saying. Do you know who T.R. Tart's agent is?
I do not. You definitely know the whole agent stuff. I don't.
His agent is Drew Rosenhaus.
Oh.
And T.R. Tart is on a restricted free agent tender, which means that unless the Titans franchise him or sign him to an extension, then he's going to enter the free agent market. Do you think Drew Rosenhaus wants him going out there playing at 75, 80% when he's headed into a contract year?
Probably not. I don't know, but probably not.
So, I think that is, I think that's a little bit, maybe that's just me speculating. I have nothing to base that on whatsoever. But a lot of guys, when they are headed toward free agency, they start to think a little more, well, what's this going to be for me if I played through this, and I'm 75% rather than 100 or close to 100%. How did playing through an injury work out for Baker Mayfield when he was a free agent?
Yeah. Yeah. It did. Well, it did work out for Big Jeff.
Yes, it did.
He played through an injury.
The Titans always knew that they were going to keep Jeffrey Sims, and especially after they traded A.J. Brown, there would have been people coming to burn the building down if they had allowed Jeffrey Simmons to get away too.
I've been saying this entire season, I don't think this is going to be – nothing's going to really change because this team is void of talent. It's really just about everything has come to roost with all the misses. So Mike Vrabel was, wanting to be a little nostalgic. What was it, Monday's presser? There was another time when everybody was writing us off, and I started to read the clip, reading the headlines, and the next thing you know, I was terrible, and players were terrible, and then we got good. That's fine. He can use that example. I don't think anything's going to change this go-around, because I'll ask you as we wrap this up, how do you change this? Again, I guess unless you don't believe what I'm saying, how do you change if you're void of talent and you're just simply not good enough? What's going to really change the rest of the way?
Not a lot. I mean, unless you just catch lightning in a bottle some way, we get on them all the time because they're scoring 15 or 16 points every game. But honestly, Darren, I don't know that they're capable of they're not capable of getting into a 34-30 game. So they have to play this way. They have to hope that the defense or the special teams, plays pretty much flawless, and that the offense can catch a break and put together 2 or 3 drives a game in order to score maybe 20 points and win a game. That's kind of how things are right now. And, with $120-something million, I think it is, in cap space for next year, and truthfully, I think they only have like 4 or 5 draft picks. They need to get something going and start to figure out how they're going to rebuild this and rebuild it as quickly as possible. And the best way is through the draft. But they've, frittered away so many draft picks already in these, minor deals that come up on draft day or early in the offseason. Like, they gave away the 5th-round draft pick they're supposed to have. I think it was this past year. They gave it away so that they could bring in Dennis Daly. Like, you could have gotten Dennis Daly for free off the waiver wire if you just waited 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, didn't they also give up something for the left tackle last year too? That's 2 years in a row, right?
Daly. That was Daly, yeah.
Oh, I mean, Daly. Yes, Daly. Like, people forget that they actually gave up capital for Daly. Yeah, sorry, had a brain.
Yes, they gave a 5th-round pick in this past year's draft.
Yeah.
The draft in April for Dennis Daly. And so then not only do you have a guy that you could have gotten for free off the waiver wire probably in 2 weeks, but you no longer have your 5th-round pick.
Yeah. Well, that general manager's no longer here that made that decision, so.
That is true, but he's kind of hamstrung the one who is here now.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Figure out a way out of it.
Agreed. Terry, appreciate it as always. I hope one day you get out of the country and you're able to see the rest of the world. But for now, appreciate the visit. Have a great rest of your day.
All right, sounds good, Darren.
Terry McCormick, TitanInsider.com. Take a break. We're wide open the rest of the hour. 615-844-5600 is the phone line and the text line. More of the McFarland Show next.
Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel downtown is at the heart of Music City. Located within walking distance of the Country Music Hall of Fame, Bar Lines at the Omni is your downtown honky-tonk destination. Watch your team from any seat on their plentiful HD TVs and catch a live show on the Bar Lines stage featuring live music 7 days a week. Bar Lines has the ultimate Southern comfort food. Get started with classic fried green tomatoes or bourbon barbecue wings. Then it's on to the massive Smashville double stack, or the world-famous Bar Lines grinder. Oh, you've never heard of the Bar Lines grinder? 2 kinds of cheese, lettuce, Dijon, smoked turkey, smoked bacon, smoked ham. Now that's some smoke you want. Local brews and local spirits are on tap at Bar Lines. Take a seat on the patio outside and soak up the rhythm of Music City. Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown.
1, 2, it's coming for you. 3, 4, you could win much more. 5, 6 on a scratch ticket. 7, 8, it's not too late. The new Haunted Jumbo Bucks instant game. With a top prize of $75,000, it's a terrifyingly great way to celebrate Halloween. Only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Just remember to play responsibly. 9, 10, time to play again.
Post-COVID travel is on a surge. Many of you are traveling for fun because you've been locked up for 2 years. Listen, whether you're traveling for fun to Italy, Greece, Spain, France, or somewhere else fun in the world, or USA, now is a great time to book before the crowds hit and save. Plus, with a strong U.S. dollar, you'll get more travel bang for your buck. Right now is a smart time to make your reservations and call low-cost airlines. With one phone call, you can let us do all the work for free. We'll shop hundreds of airlines, hotels, resorts, and give you a way to save huge money on your vacation plans. And if you call right now, we'll give you a free hotel room with a qualified travel purchase. So call right now.
800-704-1662. 800-704-1662. 800-704-1662. That's 800-704-1662.
And now, Nashville Steam Clean is reminding Americans to show support to the brave men and women who serve our U.S. military. Please visit DAV.org and consider donating to the disabled U.S. veterans who need our help. This message is brought to you by Nashville Steam Clean. For all your residential or commercial professional carpet and upholstery cleaning needs, give the pros a call today at 615-769-6159. 615-769-6159. That's Nashville Steam Clean. They're professionals who care.
It's a Bill King Show.
We are college football centric. That is the sun that warms our planet that we live on. Our planet actually isn't flat or round. It's an oblong spheroid. And we are here to proselytize about it, edify it every day on this here radio show.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
You're listening to The McFarland Show live on WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
Good stuff from Terry McCormick, as always. TitanInsider.com. 615-844-5600 is the phone line and the text line. Don't forget, tomorrow night, the high school game of the week is White House at Pearl Cone. Coverage will begin at 6:45 with Joe Fisher and Jonathan Schaefer. Good stuff. Last week it was Stewart's Creek at Smyrna. Let's go to those phone lines. Kenny the mailman, a legend. Kenny, what's up?
Darren McFarland, how are you, old friend?
Good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Usually I don't listen to a quote from a coach because it's just time filler, goes in one ear, out the other. But I did hear one the other day from Coach Vrabel. I want to run by you and see if you heard it.
Okay.
Did you hear the one where he said, you know what? If you don't count drop back pass blocking, we're doing a pretty good job blocking this year. Isn't that sort of like saying the poster could be a fashion model if he didn't look like the poster?
Wow. I did not hear that quote, but that is a good one. When did he say that? I did not hear that.
I believe that was Monday's press conference, and it's like, you do know that's 55% of the plays now in the NFL.
Well, I know he also said that, if Ryan Tannehill wasn't hurt, he wouldn't have thrown that interception. But I'm thinking, well, you had the ability to take him out of the game. He was out there, so I think that kind of goes out the window in my book. But anyway.
Yeah, this was a glaring problem going into the season. It was sort of like people were tiptoeing around it, but there's not much you can do with that line. If you do put the young quarterbacks in, maybe little rollout passes or get it out of their hands real quick. But what do you expect if teams want to show them exotic defenses? They're going to be at the mercy.
So what would you do? Kenny, you've been here the whole time. You've seen 25 years of Titans football. You've seen them turn it over to rookies in the past. Would you trot out a rookie next Sunday against the Falcons, or would you say, we're not going to take a chance with this offensive line, as you just said, and just keep putting Malik Willis out there until Ryan Tannehill is ready to go?
Well, I'm scared you're going to look right before the game, and Levis and Willis are going to be playing rock, paper, scissors for who has to go out there. You.
I'm not doing it. No, you won. No, you won.
I mean, you hate to say it, but a 270-pound center, who is he protecting?
Yeah.
Listen, y'all have a great day. Good.
Thank you, Kenny. Let me just say this about Kenny the Mailman. He puts smiles on a lot of people's faces every day, unless he's delivering bills. That's not his problem. But he can deliver checks, or good stuff. You get good mail, too. It's not always bad. But he delivered, he sent something here for Damon. And by the way, Damon's out today, out tomorrow, celebrating a birthday. And you would think, and I'm just going to leave it all, it's going to be very gray and generic what I'm going to say, because I don't think Kenny's not doing this to get recognition or have that stuff put out there. But he sent a nice little, basically, welcome Damon Keene to WNSR. And you would think Damon won Powerball when it was $1.7 billion. And Damon's never coming back, right? Because he's already collected that big fake check and he's on an island somewhere building a house. That's how happy he was for what Kenny sent him.
That's cool.
He made Damon's day. He made Damon's probably birthday. He was so excited. He was so excited. So, Kenny, I just want you to know that, man. You touched someone's life just by reaching out and saying welcome somewhere.
Kenny's been sending letters to the staff at WNSR for many, many, many years, and very thankful to have him part of our group and listenership.
And books.
Yeah, and books, yeah.
I have quite the book collection, and several of those books in that collection are from Kenny the Mailman.
Going back on the Titans real quick, the thing that gets me, it's the third downs. I feel like the Titans never have a chance to ever convert a third down.
Why? They went 1 of 9. In London. Why would you feel that way?
I was looking at the numbers. Yeah, they're 71 times they've had third downs this year, and they converted 24.
Yeah, that's not good enough.
And then how bad the red zone numbers are too.
Don't need to go there.
And I kind of feel like you have to prepare Levis and Willis to the fullest extent for this next game. Like you have to get them both just ready to play, because I think in any second you could trot out Levis, and after 1 or 2 quarters, it could be so bad where you're wanting to put Willis back in, and then vice versa. Mm-hmm. So I feel like you just need to have both the quarterbacks ready to go and just see how the game plays out. But more importantly, I want them to focus on the red zone with one of them. Either Willis, run the ball, do some option. They just got to get some production in the red zone. I just feel like we've lost so many points in the red zone this year. And then there's no creativity with the offensive coordinator in the plays. I was just going to ask you, do you think, the way this season's panning out, that Vrabel is probably going to have to make a change again in OC, or he's going to be on the hot seat?
Good luck with that. We'll see. We'll take our final break. 615-844-5600 is the phone line and the text line. We'll come back and wrap up the Thursday edition of the McFarland Show. We'll do that next.
You know that feeling you get when your team goes big? You can get that same feeling on Zen Sports, where you score with cash rewards every bet you make. Earn cash rewards on your betting volume each month, and even more cash during your 15-day welcome bonus period. So say goodbye to deposit bonuses that turn into deposit nightmares, and say hello to a better sportsbook experience and real cash back rewards. Zen Sports. Betting just got better. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and up and in Tennessee to bet.
Bob's Steak and Chop House, located in the Omni Nashville Hotel, is a nationally renowned steakhouse specializing in the finest corn-fed Midwestern prime beef. The menu formula is simple: incredible meat, gigantic shrimp, fabulous salads, and decadent desserts. Start your experience at Bob's with the fried calamari or fresh scallops seared in Texas burnt honey. All the beef at Bob's Steak and Chop House are USDA prime cuts, from the traditional filet of tenderloin and ribeye to the adventurous Kansas City bone-in strip. They even have 2 different surf and turf options. And if you're looking for the other white meat, Bob's Steak and Chop House serves a dry-aged pork tomahawk with homemade applesauce. Fresh seafood is on the menu, from salmon to scampi, and even fresh lobster tail. For reservations, give them a call or log on to the Omni Nashville Hotel website. Bob's Steak and Chop House at the Omni Nashville Hotel.
I've got a unique vacation idea for you that's right here in the United States. If you're ready for a vacation that's fun and downright affordable, listen up. It's driving distance for many of you, so no planes, no airline delays, no hassles. It's Branson, Missouri, the entertainment capital of the Midwest. Live music for everyone. Branson has 3 beautiful, enormous lakes, water attractions, live shows, great food, and tons of entertainment. It's a perfect vacation for you and your family, or if you're retired and you want to have a great time. And you can stay in Branson for as low as $99 a night. Please understand, this is not a timeshare offer. It's a real vacation for as little as $99 a night. We've got a free vacation guide we want to send you right now. All you have to do is call for complete details. Get your free Branson, Missouri guide right now by calling this number.
800-413-3953. 800-413-3953. 800-413-3953. That's 800-413-3953.
Are you ready for a touchdown of flavor and excitement? Look no further than Sam's Place and Sam's Sports Grill, the ultimate destination for great food, fantastic drinks, and game time atmosphere that will have you cheering for more. Sam's is the place for every sports fan and food lover, with over 40 TVs at every location. Sam's has a family-friendly atmosphere where everyone can have a blast. From their friendly staff to awesome kids menu, they've got something for everyone. Online at samsplace.net or samsportsgrill.com, or call and find the nearest location to you. At Sam's, the game is always on and the fun never stops.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Stan has been waiting patiently. Stan, what's up?
I'm officially turning in Vanderbilt fan, wardrobe. I've been waiting for 40 years for this, but it's not going to happen. So I'm checking out. I hope they do well. Let's go focus on baseball and women's track, tennis, and golf, and be happy about it. So, and don't forget women's bowling.
The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin on Nashville Sports Radio WNSR.
Honest opinions, genuine conversations. The McFarland Show.
(615-844-5600). Saints hosting the Jags tonight. Predators in New York to take on the Rangers. They'll drop the puck at 6 o'clock our time. Let's go to Smyrna. Frank listens on 107.9. Frank, what's up?
Darren, Darren, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. I'll just talk about the Titans. And, I've been a PSL holder from day one, and been to a whole lot of home games over the last 20-plus years. And I got to thinking about one thing, and this may be totally crazy, but with regards to the quarterback issue, have they looked at possibly bringing in Carson Wentz, Nick Foles perhaps, I hate to say Trevor Siemian, but he's available. Lord knows I don't want Joe Flacco, and I don't think Colt McCoy could help. But have they considered some of these free agents that are just out there going, hey, well, can I play?
I hope not.
What do you think?
I hope not, because I don't think nobody wants to see those guys. Like, okay, you just said it. You're a season ticket holder. Are you going to be there? I don't know if you're going to be there next Sunday or not against the Falcons. I would assume you would be. Yeah, you'll probably be there. Would you rather see Will Levis or would you rather see Carson Wentz?
Personally, I'd rather see Will Levis.
Yeah.
But
me too.
I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, I just know how the Titans think and operate, and I'm like, are they looking at any of these guys? I just want what gives us the best chance to win. That's just who gives us the best chance to win at the end of the day. And I just wonder, something that had been mentioned was any free agent quarterbacks. Boy, I sure do wish we kept Joshua Dobbs.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people that feel the same as you. There's no doubt about that.
But let's see what Will Levis can do at this point. What's it going to hurt? I mean, I said 6 games into the season they were going to get Tannehill killed.
Well,
barring a miracle. And
you were right.
Sure enough.
Here
we are, and and obvious Willis he's just not ready. No, he's not ready. He may never be ready. He looks like the same player to me that I saw last year. He just 3rd and 4th downs are a problem, and I don't know where Levis is, considering we haven't seen much of it, but to me, it can't hurt.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at with
and by the way, the organization has you guys, the fans, the media, they have the right to feel this way. You know why? Because the organization traded up to pick 33. He was almost a first-round pick, and they traded up. They gave up capital to get him. So they told us all that he was important to them. And so we all have the right to say, fine, if you believe he's important to you, then we want to see him. Do you agree with that?
I absolutely agree. I mean, for what I'm paying for season tickets every year and what it costs to park and everything, you know what? If we're going to rebuild, let's rebuild. I mean, if we're going to lose, let's at least see the future. Let's at least see what they're trying to do here instead of this, just throwing stuff at a wall and hope it sticks and maybe we pull a win out. That's mercy.
Yeah.
It's just. It's hard being a Titans fan,
Yeah.
But I'm a diehard, and I'll be that way for the rest of my life. It'll always be my team. But Darren, it is hard.
It is. Frank, appreciate it as always, buddy. Good hearing from you. That is going to do it for our show today. Have a great rest of your Thursday. We look forward to wrapping up the week tomorrow, starting at 2. We'll see you then.
5-6